the program, and the tomato conversation continues with Sani Dangote, Vice President at Dangote Group. Of course, the company in the business of tomato. Let's continue this. Of course, it's very important. We're just about 4 days within the first week in which the Nigerian government new policy on tomato is taking effect. So, thank you very much. We appreciate that. Where we finish up was, but let's get on with this part of the conversation where some folks are still very interested in importing tomato paste, and they believe that the government perhaps should allow, perhaps the next 1 year or 2 years, maybe 5 years, to allow the importation of tomato concentrate into Nigeria, just repackage them, and they're still in good business. What's your view on that?
Well, you know, totally anyone who comes to you and said, oh, we are not ready, we were not consulted, then that person has no idea about what the industry is all about. As far back as 2010, the former governor of Central Bank had all the stakeholders. We met in Lagos more than 3 times, and they had encouraged everyone to go and consider backward integration, where they could have the access to do farming or to invest in the farm business, set up a processing facility so as to reduce the importation and eventually eliminate or stop completely importation of this. Now, the main thing what we have to ask ourselves, how long does it take you to invest into the tomato backward integration? It doesn't take you 2 years. In 3 months, you grow tomato and you start harvesting within 90 to 110 days maximum. Now, to set up your industry, there are small, medium, and large-size machineries. All these you can be able to invest within a year or less. They've had this conversation with even the current administration. Since the coming of President Buhari, they've been talking about this. And every one of them had been consulted through the Federal Ministry of Industry, through many lectures and deliberation from the Federal Ministry of Agriculture by the current Minister Adungwe and the State Minister of
Trade
Industry,
Investment, yes.
Haja Aisha. Every one of them, at every space they had opportunity, they had spoken about this. None of them had short face. So many of them refused to even attend the meetings so that they would be able to come with all the excuses that they were not carried along. Every one of them was invited. They had visited so many factories, so many packaging plants, and they told them that our policy is to encourage local...
The government agencies.
And they have been to many factories that were even packaging, and they're still packaging. Now, the bottom line is, when somebody imports something worth $600 a ton, adds 30% water to dilute it from 36 to 38 bricks to 26 or 28 bricks, and sell that same product from $600 at about almost $3,000. How is he going to stop that? Even this policy has not stopped them from importation. It only asks them to pay more duty and also a surcharge, which means it will give a level playing ground for the local capacity to come up and be able to now develop into a bigger size that eventually price will become competitive than anywhere else in the world. The bottom line is Nigeria has the potential to even export tomato concentrate in the next 2 years or 3 years maximum. We will see tomato in the reverse trend because there's no science about it. Our factory has 1,200 tons a day capacity, and we're going to double that by next year, provided this policy remains. In 3 years, not only us, I'm sure 1 or 2 other investors will come in the game. And I can guarantee this government and Nigeria that in 3 years, Nigeria will be exporting tomato concentrate. There's no science about it. Even small, medium-sized companies can start in their backyard and process it. There are mobile units, there are big, large-sized services. So why should we deny Nigerians, especially the farmers? We have today almost over 6 million arable hectares of land. That's arable land that we have over 200 and something dams that we can turn into irrigation scheme where farmers can grow and we can feed the whole nation. We get our farmers jobs, we get sustainable economic development, we get money back into the farmers. Why should we then consider importation?
In terms of where Dangote Industries or Dangote Group is investing and starting its tomato business in the core north of Nigeria, why did you choose that location?
Well, you see, traditionally since the 70s or late 60s, Kano had been always the forefront of tomato production and Kaduna states. Eventually now, almost 12 states in the whole northern states are the states where commercial quantity of tomato is grown. Almost 2 million tons is produced. Half of it is going on post-harvest losses. It's so bad. If you see how tomato is on the street, on the roadside, being put to dry under the sun. Now, purely the common sense is for us to set up that industry. First, the population is increasing in the whole country. Lack of job, lack of financial capacity is coming every day. Why? These farmers are working hard. All they need is somebody to uptake their produce and pay them decent price so they can live better and have better income. And all this insecurity problem, lack of jobs, and all this idleness will evaporate, will be eliminated. So we decided to set this factory right in the center of farmers. Where we set up this factory is an area where it's fully irrigated with 24,000 hectares. Now I can assure you with over 40,000 hectares Nigeria is done with the importation of tomato. In the area where we are alone, there are over 24,000 hectares, right where farmers day and night are working there. So we set it up right there. We can create more jobs. Already with this factory in the first place, we have got 5,000 direct outgrowers listed with their BBN number, with their bank account. For the first time, the central bank governor is promising to provide funding to the tomato outgrowers where they will be guaranteed a price which is profitable. At every session of the production, we are assuring a farmer with the numbers we've done, no farmer will go home with less than 200,000 naira per season, per hectare. And if he does 2-3 times in a year, he will end up a millionaire in the second year. There's no better thing you can do to a rural farmer who had never held 50,000 naira in his pocket in his whole life. Now this will transform the whole region, giving them hopes, giving them money to take care of themselves. So this is the ideal place that we believe we will start off with. And like I said, there are 12 states where commercial planting of tomato is always going around. Now every state has this potential. And not only tomato. Once they harvest the tomato, they can plant rice, they can plant sorghum, they can do others. So the crop rotation will set in. And we are encouraging all these farmers we are putting into the cluster of outgrowers to have an irrigation scheme where the farmer now will be rotating the crops. So perpetually the whole year, farmer is guaranteed a certain income that he can bet his chest that he knows, God's willing, all things being equal, he's going to get home with money in his pocket.
Is Dangote Group getting any special government aid, let me put it that way, in terms of this policy as far as tomato is concerned? Do you get any backdoor?
See, there, let me tell you, the policy is often for everybody. It's not for Dangote. In fact, the struggle and the fight and the convincing and the talk I had gone through to bring all government agencies to see the reality. The vice president, under instruction of the president, had to go to Kano himself to visit the factory with the current Minister of Industry, and see things for themselves. The governor has to go. Minister of Agriculture has to go. We even took the vice president right to the farm to see the farmland where farmers are growing this, to see the potential. And we thank God for President Buhari and Simbanjo that they are focused leaders. Then they saw the reality. Not only because there is a factory there, but they saw the thousands of farmers that were there. They saw how the state of poverty they are in. They had no any other option but to do the right thing for the Nigerians. Now, that not a single kobo Dangote is getting directly or indirectly. In fact, we have sacrificed billions that we have suffered before this policy has come into being. And we are still going to work harder to ensure that the vision is complete, which means 1,200 tons is not sufficient. We're going to have to move this production to about 6,000 to 7,000 tons a day. That means involving over 30,000 farmers on the contract basis of guaranteed uptake. That means every farmer you can consider will probably have 5 dependent on himself. So if you have 30,000 hectares, average 2-3 people will be per hectare. They will be engaged permanently. There's nothing better than for this, than this. So not a single dime. And why should we have anything as incentive? The incentive is the policy. The policy is for every investor. You can go and set up one with 100 million naira and just do it at your backyard and sell to your